there, it's Karen here, and today I'm making a video that I did not expect to be making anytime soon or ever. I had no plans to make this video, and then I saw a video by Agostinelli yesterday. I was watching one of her Mixed Media Mondays, and I just couldn't help myself. I had been gathering these baby wipes. I've had these baby wipes that were covered in sprays from when I was doing mixed media a couple of years ago, if not longer. And I just couldn't bear to throw them away because they were just so pretty, but I had no idea what to do with them. And they've just been sitting in my cupboard for, well, probably upwards of 2 years. And then she came on and did this video where she made a journal cover out of them. And I thought, genius idea. Why didn't I think of it? Of course, but then Gail is always such an inspiration. And I thought I really have to have a go. I'm right in the middle of doing my other little project that you've been watching, and I can't decide yet whether I'm going to schedule this to be after I finish the journal, the little folio that I've been making using the Your Creative Studio box, because I've probably got at least a couple more videos to make on that, or whether I'll just pop this one in the middle and just break it up a bit. Haven't decided yet, but I thought I just couldn't help myself. I really wanted to have a go at what she did, and so the reason, as soon as I saw it, I had straight away had an idea of the journal I wanted to make with it, because I've had this kit in my stash for a little while, which I haven't done anything with. It's by Pink Monarch Prints, and it's called Bohemian Rose. And it's got these gorgeous turquoises and warm reddish sort of rusty red colours in it. So I thought, well, I'll have a look at my baby wipes, see if I've got the right colours in it. And if I just take out this top pile, because I've just gone through them. So I've got one pile here of all the various orangey colours that are in the kit. I mean, they all go pretty well with it. There's another couple there. So those ones are more towards the yellow, but they might work too. I mean, there's a bit of a selection. Obviously, they're a variety of colours. These are when I was doing using a lot of dilution sprays. I think these are basically sprays, or I used to do some oil paints when I used to use the baby wipes to spread the paint. Done lots of things like that a long while ago. And I just kept all of these, and then I've got all these colours. So they weren't all sorted like this one. I've just been through them all and sorted them out into the colours that I thought would go with this kit. And I think these are perfect. But not only that, she says, not only have I got the perfect kit to go with these colours, if you've watched my little craft room tour, you'll know I bought myself a couple of packs of, I don't know if you call them boho fabrics, just little scraps of fabrics. So I thought I'd go through those, because this is Bohemian Rose, and see if there are any of those that would also go with these colours. And look at these. I mean, how gorgeous are these? So I've got a little pile of the orangey ones, and I've also got a pile of the turquoisey ones. So, it was like a no-brainer, really. I have to do something with these things, because I could use these bits of these fabrics, if I can figure out how to use them. I'd like to perhaps put them on the cover as well. So, yeah, look at these gorgeous fabrics. And I think the whole thing just goes so well together. I just think I've just got to do something with it. I may not start the journal itself yet, but I'd like to get the cover made, see how we go with it. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm really excited. It's the first time I've really been inspired to start working on a journal. And yeah, I bought the kit thinking I'd like to do something like this, but I just hadn't really known where to start. But I think now I do. So I'm just going to clear these away a little bit and set up my mixed media station, and I'll be right back. Right, let's get started. I'm really excited to try this project. It's something I've been wanting to do. Well, at least I've been wanting to use these wipes for goodness knows how long. Just didn't know what to do with them. So thank you to Gail for coming up with this idea. So I'm just going to choose my first colour combination. Just go through all these. Some of them are more green. It's just trying to find the right bit. I'll have that bit. They've all got the colours in them. Some of them are a bit pale. I think that one might be a bit pale. Let's just go for it. See if we can. I don't know whether this will tear. Let's try giving it a start. Seeing if it'll tear. It'd be nice to have some softer edges. Oh yeah, that's tearing a bit. I know when Gail was doing it, she had to cut them one way, and it's a bit like tissue paper, it only tears one way. It's probably a bit too big like that. So it's a bit like a patchwork, really. I don't want to do the pieces too small. Oh yes, and she did fold around her edges. I think I'll do that too. So I probably could have left it a little bit bigger, but never mind. I'm just going to go for it. I don't know how this is going to work out. I hope it works out okay. If not, well, you may not see the video, but hopefully you will. I think this is going to be a very messy job. Right. So just a little bit to fold around the edges. Let's try this piece. Alright, that's worked a bit better. Definitely the way to go is to put the Mod Podge on the background, not on the baby wipe. Okay. Right, so there we have, just going to wipe off this. I'm going to leave this to dry now, and then I'll come back and we'll do the other side. Right, hello there. It's now the next morning, and this is all perfectly dry. So I'm going to turn it over, and then I'm going to just glue down all the edges. I might just trim that up a bit. We don't need it. You don't need them to be really long. Okay. Oh, I think I might just trim the corners as well. I think I'll use these scissors. Let's go for it. Let's just glue down the edges and then we'll let those dry as well. Right, I think that's all glued down as far as I can see. If I see any bits sticking up, I'll stick them on afterwards. But I need to leave this to dry now. So that's quite handy because I've got to go off very shortly for my next physio appointment. So when I get back, we'll go on to the next phase, which will be doing the sewing. So I'll be right back. Right, so here it is. It's all dry. And the other side is all dry, mostly tacked down. So what I want to do next, and it feels really nice, it's really soft, is instead of Mod Podging it, which Gail did, I've decided I want to sew on it. Sew round, or I'm going to sew all the way around the outside, and I'm just going to try and sew around each of the edges. So it might take a little while. Can't do it on camera because it would take too long, and I may have to stop and start because it's a little bit, I'm still having a little bit of difficulty lifting my arm up and down and things, and I'm still working on that. I've had my physio. She's given me more exercises to do. I'm going to be building up strength now, so I'm using weights and things, so there's still quite a little bit of work to do on the arm. So yeah, so I'm going to do the sewing, and then we'll come back for the next phase. I'll be right back. Right, so that took me about half an hour. So I've now sewn all around the edge with a zigzag, and just trim off, and all around all the little squares as well. So I think I've managed, I don't think I've missed any. All the edges have been sewn around, and you can see how that is how it looks on the back. So don't worry, I have some fabric that I'm going to cover this with when all the sewing's finished, and I'll trim all these bits off and everything. But I thought next, I think I'd like to see how this will fold. Maybe we need to start getting that fold going. So I can see how the front will look, because I'm going to start adding some of those gorgeous little pieces of fabric now. So I just need to make sure that they go in the right place. I haven't quite decided whether I want to put any of them on the back. It seems a bit of a shame in a way to put those on the back, but I might just put some little pieces on the back. Still trimming off these bits. So a lot of them I did do like a bit of back stitching at the edges, just to make sure that it wasn't going to start unravelling. It's not the tidiest bit of sewing, but then that's nothing new. But it does it does the job, and it means I can keep that lovely soft feel of the baby wipes. I thought if I covered it with Mod Podge, it would just make it, you'd lose that, and they would get a bit hard. So I thought perhaps it would be a different way of finishing this, and I rather like it, and I quite like all these soft bits as well, these little frayed bits here and there, which I quite like. Just gives it a little bit more texture. Right, so I've got my lovely little pile of fabric. Let's have a look. Obviously I can't use them all, but I might be, and I'm only going to use smallish pieces, but let's see what would work on here. I'm not sure about this piece because it's quite large. It's not actually as thick as you'd think it would be, but I think it's too big for me. I think what I'd quite like as my focal point, or my central point, would be this piece, which is a bit more delicate, and it's beautiful, and I think that would just go lovely there. So if we start with that, and I love this as well. Can't quite decide. Oh, the reason I can't decide if it's, I think it's been doubled over. That's why I couldn't decide whether it was back to front. It's because it's actually the front was on both sides. It's been seamed down here, so I think I'm going to have to undo that bit so I can use just a smaller piece of it, which is quite good because it means I've got more than I realised. So now I can open it out, and I really need to, oops, it's got a bit of backing on it. Hope it's not all going to fall apart now I've undone it, but I think I'm just going to cut some smallish pieces of these fabrics to kind of dot around a little bit. I've no idea. I really don't know what I'm doing. I did toy with the idea of just trying to make a topper and stick the whole thing on, but I thought maybe that would cover too much up, and I thought maybe this way I can just get little bits of lots of pieces on here. So this one is a bit more tricky because it looks like it's a bigger piece in its entirety, and I'm not sure I could cut that up very easily. I've got this piece which is also perfect colour. Maybe I need to maybe cut it that way, different shape. Maybe down there, I don't know. Now there's a piece of this which I might be able to use. I'm not sure about that one. I'm a bit scared of cutting that one. I absolutely adore this piece, and again I'm a little bit scared about cutting it. I wonder if it's something you could wrap it around. I'm just thinking about when the signature's being sewn in, how would that work? I might be better off to wrap around something like this, because it's not got all the... I'm not sure which side I need out. So I think that might be the front, but that looks really nice as well. But it looks a bit rougher here with the bits of red are a bit looser, so I think this must be the back. So I think that must be the front. I'm quite tempted to have a little piece of that, wrapping it around. If I cut that in half. So then I might just wrap that around like that. It's beginning to look a little bit placed, isn't it? I mean, you know what I mean, a bit too symmetrical. I'm just wondering, I'll put that one there. I don't know whether to have them overlapping, maybe. Maybe a piece of this would go here. So I do plan to, I'll glue these on and then I'm going to sew them on, I think. I have this beautiful piece of gold. I can work out, I think that's the back and that's the front. I'd like a piece of that on there too. I want a piece of all of it, really. It's quite scary cutting these. But I'm assuming they've been cut. I mean, they wouldn't have, you know, they must have been cut to be sent in this sort of shape. So maybe that could go here. And then this bit of paint there. Actually, I might just want to straighten this one up a bit. Put that there, perhaps. Okay, it's coming together, and I might like a little bit more gold. This is a beautiful piece as well, another piece of gold. Maybe a piece of that across the top. I'm just going to cut a strip. I think, yeah, these will just have to be glued to hold them in place, and then I shall sew round each of them in the same way I've done with the baby wipe squares. Hopefully these will take to being sewn okay. I could put that piece there. Piece down here. Okay, and that piece here. I think that's rather nice. I like that. I think that would look okay. I'm not sure about this piece. I keep trimming it. It's just got some weird shapes going on here. Okay, I'm going to get the glue, I'm going to get the Fabri-Tac out and glue these pieces into place. Right, so they're all glued on, and I've added a couple at the back here just because I felt it just needed to carry it across to the back a little bit, just to bring that in. I'm just going to sew around all of these now, and then I'll be back. Right, so this is now all sewn around. I've sewn around all these pieces. I was a bit nervous about how it would look with the brown thread, but I think it's come out okay. I'm really pleased with how it's turned out. In fact, I'm really liking this. It's turning out even better than I'd hoped, really. This is a few days after I did the sewing, and in between I have done some editing. You will have seen that I've speeded up quite a lot of the gluing of the baby wipes, and there's a few bits that I speeded up just because I knew if I didn't do that I wouldn't be able to get everything that I wanted to do into the one video. And I've also been playing around with adding music, which I hadn't done before, so I apologise if the music is annoying. You can always put your mute button on, but there was such a long stretch of speeded up gluing that I thought I needed to add something so it just didn't sound like deafening silence. But if you don't like the music, I apologise, and you can just mute it. I've got 2 different bits of music going on, so I will continue to play around to find things that I like. Anyway, so the next thing we need to do is to line this side. And the piece of material that I'm going to use is this. Now, this was cut from a dress of my daughter's. We were having a clear out not long ago, and this came out of, I don't know, a box or something, and we were going to, and I said, oh, I'm going to keep that because I just thought the fabric was so beautiful. And I was already had in the back of my mind that at some point I might do a boho journal, and I think this would be perfect for it because it's got those little goldy bits. This is actually elephants. But it's an awkward shape because it was gathered onto a bodice, and I think it must have been cut in a sort of round. So even though I've tried, I can't quite get it into a proper rectangle. So I thought the best thing I can do, in case I end up making it even too small, is to actually glue it down and then trim it afterwards. I hope that's not going to be too awkward to do, but I thought I was a bit scared I was going to keep on trimming it to try and get it into the shape that I wanted and end up with it not being big enough. So I think that's what I'm going to do, is just glue it a bit at a time, and then I will sew round it as well afterwards when it's dried. So I'm just going to use my fabric tack for this and just try and, I'm not going to glue all over all at once. I'm going to do it a bit at a time so I can get it where I want it to be and make sure that I've got everything covered. So again, I'm sure this will be, I will speed this process up because watching somebody glue is not very exciting. And you still get to see it, you just see it super fast. So that's all glued down, and now I want to just attempt to trim it to just inside the zigzag stitching, and then I will try and stitch around the edge of it, just the edge of the fabric with just a straight stitch, just to make sure that's nicely stuck down. So this could be a little tricky. I'll see how I get on. So I've glued it where I want it to finish, so I'm hoping just by trimming it a little bit I'll end up with an even size piece. So just, it doesn't matter if it's not dead straight, I just wanted it to tuck it inside that bit of stitching. I'm just going to a little tricky in these bits where there's not a lot to trim off. I just want to straighten it up really. I've glued it too far across. This bit. Oh yeah, it's better. I think I just had a little bit of glue over the stitching where I didn't want it. A little bit, straighten it up a little bit more down the bottom here. I knew this bit would be a little bit tricky, but I'd still rather do it this way than trim it too much before I glued it and have it not covering properly. Yeah, it's not the straightest cutting, but I'll try and straighten it up a bit more afterwards. Just trimming it down. I think I just need to tidy that up a little along there. Not too bad along that side. Just trim this a little, just a little bit more. Okay. Okay, there we are. Whoops. Bits are sticking to me. Get out of the way. And I might just try and straighten up this slightly dodgy cutting down the bottom here as best I can. I think the chances are there'll be a pocket or something there, so you won't see it anyway. So I don't think I'm going to worry about that too much. I think I might just leave that before I over trim it and then end up with it not with the situation that I was worried about in the first place, was just having it too short. Then I'm going to, I think I'll need to leave it a little while to dry, because the glue is right along the edge and I don't want to get my sewing machine all caught up in the glue. So I'm going to give it a short while, and then I shall sew just around the edge just to make sure it's completely secure. And then I'll come back and I'm going to, the final thing I'm going to do is to put on some book corners. I think that's what I'm going to do. I've got some Tim Holtz ones here. There may be some more decorating to do on the front. I haven't quite decided. I'm having the urge to stick sequins all over it, but I don't know if that's a good urge or not. and that might be something I'll do further down the line. I think I might leave it as it is for now and then add extra decoration. I've also got I've got this wax seal piece that I could add with some gold ribbon or something like that. Maybe I might do something like that, put that there or somewhere. Haven't quite decided. So I've got the gold piece, and I've got a couple of more orangey coloured ones. This wasn't really long enough, it doesn't look quite right. And I've got this orange one. So I'm not sure about those. They're an option that I might come back to at another time. But in the meantime, I'm just going to let this dry, and then I'll be back when it's sewn around to do the finishing touch for today. Okay, so I'll be right back. Alright, so I've now sewn all around the edge of this. Shall we see how it looks on the other side? I'm hoping it's going to look okay. So I haven't really checked. That's not too bad. It's just like an extra inner border really of stitching. So it all just helps to hold everything down anyway. So yeah, that looks okay. I'm happy with that. So now the final thing to do with this is to put on these little book corners, which I haven't done for ages and ages. I think the last couple of journals I made, the book corners weren't appropriate. I don't know whether I had rough edge. I don't know, maybe I had rough edge. I can't even remember. It's so long ago since I've done a journal. But I do know I haven't used these for a long time, so I'm hoping I can remember what to do. So I think I'll start with the back, just in case I mess up. And I think the idea is you just, yeah, I've got my these little pliers, which I hope will still work. Well, it's not the pliers that might not work, it's more like my hands might not work anymore, but I'm to squeeze, but we'll give it a try. So start off with a bit of Fabri-Tac. While this was drying, I refilled my bottle and I took my eye off it, and it is filled right to the top. I don't normally fill it quite so full. It's gone right to the top, but maybe that'll just make it come out easier. It seems to be coming out okay at the moment, so that's good. Just have to be careful it doesn't fountain everywhere. Right, I'm going to slide in the corner. And then I think because the Tim Holtz ones generally are not too hard to just push down a bit, although having said that, I used to be able to do it. And either these are a bit stiffer or I've got a bit weaker. And I'm having a bit of trouble with this, so let's see if I can get the pliers to squeeze it in for me. Otherwise I'll go away and get Richard to do it for me, and then come back when it's done. Okay, so I did manage to put a couple on. I had to turn off the camera because I had a call come through on my phone, which was quite an important one. So while I was off, when I turned off the camera, I did actually manage to put a couple of these on, the first two on myself, without resorting to extra help. So I will put the other two on camera. Please forgive my rather ham-fisted methods, because it's not the easiest thing for me to do, but I will attempt to do it on camera. And you know, if it looks too awkward and weird the way I do it, by all means close your eyes or wind on the video or something, because it's not probably not the way anybody else does it, shall we say. So I'll get the glue, and then I find that I actually need to use the pliers just to bend it in a little bit. And it will look awkward and it will look ham-fisted, and I'm afraid that's just the way it is with me. I do the best I can, just to get it, just to bend it in a little bit, because I'm finding I can't manage to just do it with my hands, which I was able to do before. Okay, so it's starting to bend in now. And once you get it started, the pliers just quite nicely pinch it in, and then that's easier. It's just getting that bend started that I was having a bit of trouble with. but it is on. These pliers are so old. They're an old pair that, you know, that were in the garage. Because they're small, I find they just work quite nicely for me. Right, so that one's on. Yep, see, that looks fine on the other side. And then we've got the last one. Let's put my top on before it goes everywhere. And let's put this one on as well. See if I can start it off a little bit. Just getting a bit of an angle on it, getting it started, that's it. I think I'm getting a bit better at it. Now I've got to the last one. There we go. Whoop. Okay. I'm just squishing the sides. And the other one. Pinch it as much as I can, and hopefully the Fabri-Tac will do the rest in holding it in place. Okay. Okay, I think that's on. So there we are. One journal cover. Let's just make sure it's folded properly. Two sides level. Where did my bone folder go? There we are. Wow, I love it. I really do. This is exciting. I haven't done a journal in so long, and almost unexpectedly, totally unexpectedly, I find myself doing one suddenly now. Thanks to Gail and her inspirational video. So I don't know quite what I'm going to do next. I think probably I'll probably have to choose the papers for the signature and that sort of thing, look and see what I've got. I've got a few ideas of what I might be able to use. So that'll probably be the next video that you see. I think I will, even though I've actually done this right in the middle of the project using the Your Creative Studio pieces, so that's only half finished. I will go back to that, and you will have seen all of that by the time I post this. You will have seen that the finish of that project, so I can then move on and do this. And I'll probably have got maybe one or two other things I want to do as well. So yeah, it's nice to feel excited about a journal again. It's been a while since I felt like that. So thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed this. It's a bit different. And I've really had fun. I've really loved doing this. So I'm looking forward to what happens next. Okay, thank you. Bye for now.